Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to be in this webinar. In today's webinar, I'm going to share with you a brief introduction of a systematic literature review that I wrote. And I'm going to share with you the topic, the theme, the abstract literature review or framework, the methodology, the results, discussions, and the conclusion as well. So let me tell you something. I wrote this paper in order to help out my students to develop a specific language skills. You already know, as English teachers or English professors, we have the obligation to help our students to develop the English language skills or the micro skills. And for the reason that I wrote this paper is because I was facing a very specific problem with my students while teaching reading comprehensions. And that's the reason why I wrote this paper. And as a topic, enhancing task comprehensions in EFL learners through various reading comprehension strategies. And I'm going to share with you a little bit about the abstract. Reading skills must be learned while learning English as a foreign language or as a second language. So reading skills are one of the most important language skills that learners have to develop. The implications of applying effective reading strategy is crucial when a learner reads and educator teach reading skills in this context in order to enhance reading skills of individuals. To conduct this systematic literature review was necessary to observe on different databases such as Eric, G. Store, Taylor and Francis, and ResearchGate to obtain a relevant article, of course. And 10 articles were selected and analyzed as well to undertake essential findings of this view, underscoring several crucial dimensions of reading strategies in EFL and ESL context. So, this information can help educators choose the most suitable strategy to enhance their instructional methods and cater to the diverse needs of their learners. Alright, let me share you a little bit about the literature review or framework. As I told you before, this is only a brief introduction of the systematic literature review. In Nicaragua, reading comprehension plays a pivotal role in the process of learning English as a foreign language, as it significantly enhances learners' capacity to understand and interpret text. EFL teachers have the responsibility of guiding learners to acquire these comprehension reading skills, cited by Layer. Okay, Prasasti highlights that the primary emphasis in this realm of reading comprehensions remains centered in grasping the textual meaning of a superficial level. Prasasti conducted a study that examined different reading comprehension activities implemented in EFL learners. In this activity was taken into account fables and writing essays. Instead of fighting, it was the composition or response to the interconnected three categories, while critically engaging with the text. And these three categories have to be related with the text and personal experience, empathizing with the text, and situating the text within a broader sociocultural context. Also, Paralela, in her study, developed the strategies employed by language learners during two foreign language readings, and it was taken into account in two separate reading sessions. The first based on participant university, and the second one based on participant theories in humanities. Parallel findings highlight that participants utilize cognitive strategies such as evaluations and interpretation while reading, and the diverse of cognitive assistance and metacognitive approach merge in their reading processes. Herman mentioned that reading is a complicated cognitive process that is likely the most important competency acquired in all of the schooling. So that people or teachers, professors, we already know that reading is a little bit complicated to develop, even in our tongue mother, because it's how we interpret the written text, or how it's not possible to read a sign without have the knowledge how to read correctly different portions of text. Herman also underscored that the implementing explicit instructions in reading comprehension strategy should not only aim to enhance reading skills, but should also be employed as a means to enhance science achievement. Alright, the methodology that I was choosing. First stage was surfing, as I told you before, surfing on different databases such as ERIC, GSTOR, Taylor and Francis, and ResearchGate to obtain relevant articles published in the last 17 years. The articles found are between 2006 and 2023. Were just a combination of words such as cognitive reading, reading comprehension strategies, teaching reading comprehensions to EFL learners, and implementations of different reading strategies. Secondly, for conducting this paper was included the inclusion criteria, and the inclusion criteria they met the following criteria: publish in English, focus on teaching reading, focus on reading skills development, focus on English reading strategies, focus on reading English teaching context, focus on English teaching as a second language or EFL, must include primary learners, secondary learners, or university learners as well. Must include individuals involved in the study such as professional professors at the same time. Teachers at the moment they are implementing or applying different strategy to teach reading skills and help out to the students to develop those skills. And third stage for the study selection was taking into account the following criteria: database, the author, name of the articles, years of publications. As a result, based on the research of the different databases, as I told you before, as I already mentioned the databases that I go through, to obtain different important and relevant articles. And based on the 10 articles obtaining after the selection process, a review was administered. You already know it was necessarily to read deeply those articles and then select the main or the key information to use and try to resolve the problem with this systematic literature review. And therefore, of this study determine the efficient of reading strategy at different English learners levels. Based on these articles, identify the following reading strategies, like reading responses, activating prior knowledges, and making prediction, inferring, word identification, and meaning, visualization, identifying the main idea, relating text with one experience through constructing, connecting, and empathizing with the text through dialoguing, situating text with a sociocultural scope, and reflection. Also, another strategy implemented in some study were multiple choice, presents as reading strategy fill in the blanks, and retelling contribute to aid learners in understanding a text. Although summarization, evaluating the text content, interpreting, and reading aloud. Also giving a student reading assignments and creations of questions about the text, reading heading and features, analysis of text process, taking note, discussions in noting unfamiliar words. So these words some strategies that were implemented in primary studies and were used to conduct my studies and help out my students to develop their written skills. And let me share you a little bit about the discussion. The systematic literature review provides essential insights, of course, into written strategy for English as a foreign language and English as a second language. This analysis of the 10 articles from several sources provides a rich understanding of the issues explored and corresponding findings. This study highlights key strategies to help students to develop written skills. All right. And also, students can use their own strategy to develop those skills as well. But as a teacher, we are compelled to help our students using these strategies. Or even though you can search about more specific strategy to help your student to develop written skills. And as a conclusion, written skills have to be learned or acquired by every individual who is learning or acquiring English as a foreign language or as a second language. Therefore, the systematic literature review provides a comprehensive overview of the key findings and insights related to the comprehension reading strategy for English as a foreign language and English as a second language learners. The analysis of the 10 articles from several sources illustrates essential aspects of reading, illustration, and comprehensions in this context. Based on these articles, insights are rich variety of reading strategies, where detected and informing the development of more effective reading instruction practice in EFL and ESL settings, ultimately benefiting learners in their journey toward improved reading comprehension and literary skills. Therefore, this finding can aid Nicaragua learners. This is so important, people. This can help us as English teachers from Nicaragua to enhance text comprehensions and choose the most suitable strategy to enhance their instructional methods and better cater to the diverse needs of our learners. As I told you before, this is so essential in order to help our students not only to develop the skills of speaking, listening, but also it's important to help our students to develop written skills, because it's how we read, it's how the way we can communicate each other through messages or different things. It of course have to do with the length of the others skills as well. But reading is so important because it's how they are going to interpret the message of a text, or even how they transmit information reading and sharing by reading. Alright, so thanks so much for watching this webinar. It has been my pleasure to share with you about the systematic literature review. So as I told you before, this was only a brief introduction of my systematic literature review that I wrote. Hope as soon as possible it's gonna be published at NAN Journal. Thanks so much and see you soon.